Hi everyone, it's Barry here from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today and thank you for joining me for this month's Global Stamping video hop. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an easy fun fold card using Designer Series paper. So the theme for this month for the Global Stamping video hop is Designer Series paper. So I'll show you the paper I'm going to be using in a moment. But that's the theme, and it's an easy fun fold card which I'm going to create for you today as well. So do remember this is a video hop, so links to everyone else can be found down below in the description. So do make sure you go and check them out after this video has finished as well, and go and check out what other creations everyone else has made using the using Designer Series paper. But yeah, I'm going to crack on. So I hope you enjoy what I have in store for you today. Okay, so as mentioned, the theme is Designer Series paper. So the paper I'm going to be using here is the, let's get this correct, Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper, which is this one right here. So this is a lovely Christmas pattern. Now, obviously, this card is easy enough that you can convert it to any Designer Series paper which you have got. So it doesn't necessarily need to be Christmas, but I'm going to be using the Christmas one for this particular card. So we have got these lovely patterns. So it's got this lovely Christmas colours in here. You've got your reds and your greens and your blues and so on, your golds. So we've got some lovely patterns going on right here. It's got this lovely foiling. Can you see that foiling going on that one? It's a beautiful piece of paper. And then you've got some plain pieces, some more solid colours. So we have got those. That one's absolutely beautiful. Love that red one. This one here's got to be my favourite, and I think seeing what a lot of people have done with this paper as well, this one is a favourite from a lot of people. And we've got a nice back into it, and we've got that one there, and then the back into it there. So that's a pattern paper pack which I'm going to be using. I'm also going to be pairing that with some gold foil sheets as well, because red, gold, blue all goes perfectly with each other. So I'm going to be using some gold foil sheets as well. So to create this card, you're going to need to prepare yourself a few items here. So I have got myself some Night of Navy card stock here, which is going to be for my card base. So this is measuring 5.5 inches by 10.5 inches. You're going to need another piece here in the coordinating colour, which is going to be 5.5 by 5.5 inches. You're going to need yourself some gold foil, which is measuring 5.25 by 5.25. And some Designer Series paper, which is measuring 5 by 5 inches. You'd always need yourself another. You're going to need yourself another piece of Designer Series paper, which is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. And you will need another bit of gold, but I'm going to cut that gold out from the centre of this once I've got it. But if you are using some scraps, you're going to need another bit of gold, which is measuring 3 3/8 of an inch by 3 3/8 of an inch. And that's all you're going to need for that one. I've got myself some of the pattern paper here, because I'm going to use the coordinating dies, because this comes with the Christmas greenery stamp set. So you've got this one right here and it coordinates with the dies, and there is a die which cuts this one out perfectly. Or if you've got the stamp set, you can stamp and colour your own one if you wish. But again, I'm going to be using the Designer Series paper and the die set to cut this one out as well. For the sentiments, I am going to be using these lovely Greetings for You mix and match pack, so which is right here. So these are gold foil, and it's got lots of lovely Christmas sentiments, and I'm going to be using one of those for the sentiment, and some lovely sparkle here with the gems, which is the traditional sparkling sequins, and I'm going to use those just for a little bit of bling on the card as well. So let's crack on with today's project. First things first, we will take the card base here, and we are going to want to pop this in along the long edge, and we're going to want to score this at 2.5 inches. Five inches. 7.5 inches. And 10 inches. Okay, and then we want to then fold all of this. And then we would then stick this together like so. So I'm just going to do that now so that gets nice and stuck. There we go. We'll just leave that to one side just to continue getting set up. Okay, we're going to take this piece right here, the other piece of Night of Navy, And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a square out of this. Now, if you've got layer and square dies or any layering type of dies, this might be a bit easier for you, but I'm going to show you how to do it if you haven't got any dies. So I'm going to cut it at 1 inch all the way around. And I'm going to cut this out in the middle. So all I'm going to do is just going to bring my blade into the center, and I'm going to cut it along the side here. Now, if you're using a dark bit of paper and you can't see the measurements on the side here, just pop a bit of paper underneath, and now you can see your measurements on your ruler like that. So that may give you an indication on where you want to go. So I'm going to go down to a 1 inch, and I'm going to just go round, and I'm going to turn this around at 1 inch. Now, if you're not going to use a bit of paper, you can just go in. I always start in the middle, backwards and forwards, until I see the lines meet. And then if they haven't quite met, you can just go back in at 1 inch again, and then just tweak it accordingly. Until that pops out like that. So that there is your square piece. We're not gonna need that bit right there. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the gold and a designer series paper, and we are gonna want to stick this down, but you're only gonna want to stick down along the edges for the time being, because we want the middle part to fall out. So just along the edges like that, and then stick that down like so, essentially, so you've got a nice even border around this. Okay, so once that is dry, what we're going to do is we're going to want to pop this on top. We're not gluing this down yet, and we're just going to grab ourselves a little bit of tape, and we just want to hold that in position so that's where we want it. And I'm just going to use some removable tape just to kind of like go round this, just so that it's in the position I want it to be in. Okay, so that's that. So that I'm happy with that in position. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to grab a pencil, and I'm just going to draw around that. Now we can just remove our tape. And then we're just going to do a little bit of with the ruler. I'm going to grab my ruler, and I'm just going to then just draw another line around here. So what I tend to do is, if I'm using my ruler, especially if I've got a see-through ruler, I can use it so that I can, the little lines are just touching my pencil line. It's kind of, it is the gap which I'm after, or it's around about 1/8 of an inch, which you're looking at as well. So come out around about 1/8 of an inch, or if you've got a see-through ruler, the length of those lines. And then I'm just going to pop a line top and bottom, and I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. Okay, so you can see what I've gone and done there. I've got these marks which are going to be my guide for my trimmer now. So I'm now going to do it exactly the same as what I did with the blue piece, and I'm going to gut this out as well. But I'm going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to line my pencil mark up top and bottom. And the same thing as I'm going to cut in between like that. Bear in mind you are going through some pattern paper as well, so just push a little bit harder. And the same thing again, if it hasn't quite met, just line your lines up again. Okay, and then that then pops out like so, and then okay, Just going a little bit over the top with my gluing on the sides there, so I'm just going to carefully just take that one off, because we are going to cut this down to size. So that's it. So just be careful with how far into the middle you go when you're actually cutting this. We will take a little bit off. So that's that one. That then can then get stuck onto this, and you can see now it's just given us that nice border, blue border on the inside as well. You can go ahead and you can go and stick that piece to this piece right here. There you go, pop that to one side just to dry it now. Okay, so this piece we're not actually using, so just bear in mind it's got a little bit of glue on there. Again, if I hadn't have put so much glue on there, that would have just popped off quite nicely. But that's not an issue. So this is the gold piece I was mentioning to you, so we need to cut this down to size now so I can get rid of this gluey part right here. So this is going to be 3 3/8 of an inch. Three and 3/8 by 3 3/8. That one right there. So just removing any tacky parts as you're trimming it. And then you've got your blue piece, which is this one right here, which is then going to be your perfect layer for that one. So go ahead and stick that one down onto that. Perfect. So there is our elements for the card right here. So what we want to do on this particular one now is we now want to stick this onto this. Okay, so we want to stick that piece, this side here only, so the bit on the left hand side, to the left hand side of this right here. Make sure you've got it with your folds going up and down. I suppose you could have it that way, because it could be a card which goes this way if you wanted to, but the sentiment panel wouldn't make sense. Ideally it works best this way right here. So just remember what side you have got. Okay, and then we're going to then stick that down on that one like so. Just tidying up any bits which may be coming out. So I'm just going to stuck that on so it's roughly equal distance both sides. Again, don't go too close to the edge with your glue, because you'll get too much seepage coming out and things will start getting messy. And that's that one there. So then that then allows the card to stand up like that. And then with this piece, this is now a perfect piece which is going to sit in the middle, because we've cut it down so it sits inside that square. And we want to make sure we stick it to the right hand side. So we can pop some glue on that side there. Place that on like that. Pop it in centrally. And there we have it. Just give it a wiggle if things have moved. So it's quite a nice card as it is, but then this is going to pop up, and then that there is going to then give you a nice little window which is going to then pop on out. So that there is the fun fold using the Designer Series paper. Now to finish this one off, we said we're going to use the Designer Series paper for this one right here, the sentiment and some gems. So I'm just going to cut the flowers out using the dies. So we've got the dies right here. Got some lovely dies, but we've got one which fits that one perfectly like that. So we're going to cut that one out. Okay, so we've got that now perfectly cut out. So we're going to pop that one on over here, and then we're going to take ourselves some of the sentiment. So again, stamp your own sentiment or use this lovely pack. So this is a really nice pack actually, which got a lot of your sentiments on here. So you can go with all sorts. So we've got Joy can go on. We've got 'Tis the Season. We can go on there. All of these Merry and Bright sit on here quite nicely. We've got From Our House to Yours. We've got Merry and Bright slightly larger. We've got Merry Christmas on some of the other ones which are in here. Merry Christmas, Season's Greetings, so slightly different fonts, longer, smaller, so there's a nice variety. So this is a really lovely pack actually. As I've got 'Tis the Seasons out, I'm going to use that particular one right there. But I quite like that square one as well actually. I think that one works quite nicely, square on square. You know, actually no, I'm going to use the Merry and Bright square on square on that one. I'm going to use this on some, these are sticky backs. You can remove the sticky from the back and then stick it straight down, but I do like a little bit of dimension on my cards. So we're just going to stick some of these on this. And some on the back here. Okay, well then once we've gone ahead and done that, just stick these down. So do remember this is the global stamping video hop, so as I mentioned at the beginning, links to everyone else can be found down below in the description as well. So do go and check out what everyone else has done, because I'm sure they have come up with some amazing projects as well. And we've all got the same theme of designer series paper. Just leave us a comment down below, let us know what you think. Like and subscribe as well if you want to see some more future videos. And we're just going to pop that there. I think it's quite nice. And then just to finish this off, we're going to pop on some gems. Now on my prototype I used the blue. So am I going to use the blue again? So put those just around the sentiment like that. And that there is today's project. Using the lovely Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper pack with the gold foil sheets and the sentiment pack right here as well. So I'll just tell you exactly what that one is again. Greetings for you, mix and match. Let's start that again, shall we? Pack. What do you think? Do you like that? And then again, this then just pops out like so. So I did my prototype, which I've got right here, which I've used the Season's Greetings like that. And then I've got another one where I used the same paper, which was cut off. And then you can then do it the same as well. So really have a good play around with your pattern paper. I think this is a great way to showcase off a paper pack with this one. I think it looks amazing, it's stunning. So that is it. So I hope you've enjoyed that video today and you found it easy enough to follow along yourself. So that's going to look really, really special on somebody's side at Christmas. You've got enough room on the back there, you can pop a white piece of panel if you want to, so where you can write your sentiment if you wish on the back like that. But it's all hidden back there quite nicely. And that there is today's card, using the designer series paper. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon with another video for the Global Stamping Video Hop and for our weekly lives as well. So do check us out on Wednesday evenings around about 7:30 in the evening, and then possibly come along and have a chat with us afterwards on our Zoom Chat and Tidy. But in the meantime, we will see you again very soon. Take care for now, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.